Welcome to the next part of creating a Guitar Hero-like game in Unity. So I've tried a few things, I did some math, and I figured out that Unity velocity is in meters per second, which is nice. So it clears one of these units in one velocity, whatever it's set to. So if you set velocity to 1, it will clear 1 unit in 1 second. I then converted the song's BPM, which is 66, you could find using a BPM calculator, to beats per second, which turned out to be 1.1. You can also do this by dividing by 60, I believe, but you get 1.1, meaning that they need to travel at a velocity of 1.1 to clear 1 unit in 1 beat. Now, because the notes would be too close together, I multiplied that by 4, making each unit a quarter note, and the end result is this is 1 note, this is a quarter note after, and then this is the quarter note after that, and then so on until this is the next beat. So this would be mark 1, this would be a fourth, halfway, a third way, and that's the full way. This is 1 beat now, from this note to this note. And the end result isn't that bad, actually. It's pretty close, but it's not perfect. I'll show you what I mean. I don't feel like I'm quite playing along with the song. I feel like the notes look right, but it's just a little weird, you know? You want the notes to line up perfectly, which is why we're going to create a little thing to do that for us. So watch this. We're going to create mode. So all I did was type in public bool create mode in our activator class. And if create mode is on, it's going to activate this whole new mode where when we press a key down, it will place a note. So if create mode and input.get key down our key, then instead of destroying the note, and by the way, we only want this to happen, right? If create mode in this, we only want to use create mode, we don't want to use any of this. We're going to put this in an else statement for if we're not in create mode. So it will do everything else if we're not in create mode. Okay? And now we can just copy this one where we do the pressed, and instead of doing pressed, we're just going to instantiate a note in the position. So we're going to call on instantiate. We're going to need a game object called public game object called, we already have one called note, so we're just going to call it n. And then we're going to instantiate our n at our transform.position, and we're going to give it equator neon of no rotation, so just identity, and that's it. So if we're in create mode, then we can place these notes down, otherwise we can't. So now what we're going to do is select all of our activators down here, and we're going to go to our n and choose our note. And this is now the result. So when we're in the game, we're not in create mode, everything is normal. However, if we are in create mode, we can go to our activators, turn on create mode. And now if we are in create mode, when we press stuff, we actually create notes. And this is why we want to do this. Now we can pause the game and look at what we just created. And ignore this part over here. It actually lines up pretty accurately. We had it pretty good. I just kind of want to delete, or for now we're just going to deactivate these notes inside of note here. Let's just delete those. Okay. So this is what we created. This is our song path. And it's a pretty accurate representation because we just tapped along and created this. So if I'm hoping this will work, maybe we can copy these and paste it into the editor. I'm not quite sure though. I don't know if this will work. It does work, okay. So we just copied that note path we created, and we can go into our notes now. We can actually delete all these notes and paste in these notes, which they're not actually attached to our prefab, which is kind of a problem. to be honest. But now we have a good idea of where the song should line up. We don't even have to delete the other notes. We're actually going to leave those and just paste in these guys and line them up about where we want to start. Just probably along with this note, right? Let's just watch this go down now. Let's turn off create mode again. We don't need it anymore. We've already used it. So we'll just go to our activators, select all of our activators, and disable create mode. And now what we have is a way to create this song. If it's lined up properly. It doesn't look like it is though. Oh, I see. It's because the speed is different on these notes than the other notes. So we got to just find out where it will properly start out. The speed on these is still 5, but that's okay. We can actually change the speed on these to 5. We just need to find out where they start relative. But it's a very experimental procedure. You need to really try and tweak it to make it work, because you want it to match your music as best as possible, and sometimes music isn't always perfectly matched up with the beat. We just have to find the sweet spot. That looked pretty good. Let's try it again. And you gotta play around with it to the best you can. Now we have our notes here, and they're the same speed as these notes. So we could technically line them up properly. Before we start playing around with our notes though, we're going to move this note all the way down here, and we're going to start making them the right colors. That's important. So let's move this note down here and start making it the right color. We have a bunch of notes to choose from. And I would even save what file we're about to create as like a fresh song in a way. So you can easily recreate note patterns. So just take your notes and select the colors like so. And this is why I wanted to make the activators maybe a little bit darker, because they're going to overlap. It's going to be a little weird. So we have a good pattern of notes now. Now we can just kind of make the song, as long as they line up with our notes properly. So, say we want our orange note there, we'll go orange. Oh, my bad. Copy this circle. Want orange, green. Then we go to the blue. That. Make sure that these are all lined up. If you want to line them up perfectly, you can even just put these where you want them and then line them up even better. And I might not even use orange, green, or blue, because actually this part is a little bit lower. And this is really where these music games come into being challenging to make, because it is a lot of work to really line up these notes and figure out what you want your song to be like. I'm going to make it start with this red one actually. We're going to go red to orange to blue. We don't want to hit the highest one yet. I'm going to make sure these are really nicely lined up. And I'm just going to go through and do this for every single one. And then, to be lazy even, I can copy a lot of this stuff. Our note clones here are all like open up. Kind of annoying, but we can take our the notes we just made here, these three, shift them up, and then copy them. So we have our two things, and then it goes do 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 do. So we need like maybe this one. So we want that one there, about, line that up. And we can delete these as we create them too. Like once we overlap with our song creator thing, we don't really need it. And when you do the song creator mode, you might want to tap along to the best of your ability. Maybe even tap along more than once. You have to, just to get the best effect you can. I'm gonna move this up to there. It's easier to work with. Go to red here, maybe. Actually, we should go to orange, because that's like the starting note. I'm gonna go... We'll test that out for now. Let's see how that works. So we can, once again, delete... Actually, I deleted my canvas here. We can delete these white notes as we go. We don't need them. They're just tools. And then it would continue on from there. So let's see how that lines up. So it didn't look like it really lined up that great, but that's really my tapping's fault, I guess. I mean, it's all up to you, however you tap. So it's really up to you and however you tap, but for now I'm just gonna try and stick with this. I'm probably gonna work on this a lot off camera now that you know how to do it. I just want to make sure that you can figure out how to do it, and you can reuse the creator mode however you want. I might actually redo it and try and get it more perfect. But when you turn on creator mode, you can maybe even do it just for one if you're just trying to get the timing right, and you just want to tap along to your song to the best of your ability. So like get to know your song, and if you can't do that, you can even like tweak the notes when you're done. But when you're done tapping along, you just copy all your notes and then paste it in. Find out where that starting position is, where the song starts, and then you're good to go. Part of the problem might be because my song isn't lined up properly. Maybe it's supposed to start a little bit later. That can cause an issue. That's pretty cool though. So that's it for this video. Next video, I think we're gonna work on score multiplier and losing notes, like what happens if a note is lost and so on. So tune in next time.